This is the Nashville Number System, and I will be doing it in the key of G. The Nashville Number System is an easy way for musicians to be able to communicate one to another without actually having to call out chords. So I'm going to be showing you on my acoustic guitar of how to be able to use the Nashville Number System. So let's get started. For the Nashville Number System, all you really need to know is your major scale. So if you know your major scale of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Looking at our guitar, we start here on the G, then we're going to go a whole step up. So on your guitar, a whole step up is just 2 frets up. So you go, there's your whole, which ends up being A. Then you do another whole, which is 2 frets up again, and that makes it a B. Now we have to do a half step up, which is our C. So we have whole, so starting on G, whole, whole, half, that's our C, right? Now we got to do 3 holes in a row, and that is, so from C we do a whole step up, that is your D. Then you do another whole step up, which is your E. Now we can continue on and go to the F sharp, which is a whole step up from your E, and then you start over again in G. You also, once you get to E here, you also can go back up here starting over, right? And here's your F sharp, and then you do a half step up to your G. All right, now let's talk about the numbers. So how do we correlate that with numbers? So we take our G scale, our G major scale, and we put a number to each of those, I guess, letters or chords, if you want to call it that. So how does that work? Now looking at our guitar again, all we have to do is we go G. Our G now is our 1. Our A is our 2. Our B is our 3. Our C is our 4. Our 5, which is D. And then our E, which is 6. And our F sharp, which is 7. And starting over 1, which is G again. So that's plain and simple of how the Nashville Number System works. Each chord has a number associated, 1 through 7. And that's really how simple it is. So what we can do is we can go through each one of the major scales on each string. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So we already did the first string. So now what we need to do is find the G on the, I guess, the 5th string. So we go here. Here's our G. We're going to go up to the A, right? Then we're going to continue on. We're going to go to B. So, which is right there. We'll go back down, B, and then we're going to go to C, and we're going to go to D, and we're going to go to E, and we're going to go to F sharp, and we start over again on the G. Let's do the next string. So on our 4th string, we're going to start here, which is, there's our G, which is 1. So we go 2, go 3, we go 4, which remember it's a half step from 3 to 4, 5, and then we're going to go to 6, and we're going to go to 7, which is a whole step, and we're going to go to starting over on the G again, which is our 1. All right, let's go ahead and do it on the 3rd string. We have, it's of course there, it's on the 12th fret, so why don't we start on there? So we got 1, we have to do a whole step. There's our whole step, which now that's our 2. We have to do a whole step, which is our 3. Now we have to do a half step, which is 4. And we need to do a whole step, which is 5. We have to do a whole step, which is 6. We have to do a whole step, which is 7. And then we start over again at the 1 half step. Now continuing on our 2nd string, here's our G. That's our 1, 2, 3. And now from 3, we have to go to 4, which is a half step. 4. It's our 5. Whole step to 6. Whole step to 7, and then a half step to 1. I want to emphasize that there will always be 4 numbers that only have a half step between them. And those 4 numbers are, there's only a half step always between the 7 and the 1, the 7 and the 1, and the 3 to 4. Those will always only have a half step between them. So if you remember that, everything else is whole steps, only those have a half step between them. The 7 to 1 and the 3 to 4. Get that in your brain, and it makes it really simple moving forward. When it comes to the number system, each number is associated with a major or a minor chord. And it's really simple. You just need to remember this. Once you have this down, it's not a big deal. You'll have it figured out from moving forward. But your 1 is always going to be a major chord. Your 2 is going to be a minor chord. Your 3 is going to be a minor chord. Your 4 is going to be a major chord. Your 5 is going to be a major chord. Your 6 is going to be a minor chord. Your 7 is a diminished chord. There are some chords that are played when it comes to the 3 and the 7, right? For the 3, they do definitely play the 3 minor chord, but most of the time you're going to play a 1 over a 3. So in that case, in the key of G, a 1 over 3 is going to be a G over B. That is your 3 chord or your 1 over 3 chord. And then the 7, a lot of times they're not going to play it as a diminished chord. They're going to play it as a 5 over 7 chord. And what that is then in the key of G turns out to be a D over F sharp. So that is usually how that is played. So let's go through the chords and how you're going to play them. So if I were to call out a 1 chord, right, you would play a G chord, right? If I were to call out a 2 chord, you're going to play, now we have to think of 2, we're going to play an A minor chord. So I play my A minor chord, right? There's my A minor chord. Now, the next chord I want to play is going to be my 3 chord. Now we can play a B minor chord, right? That would be 3 minor, but you also can play a 1 over 3, and that is played like this. That's a 1 over 3 chord. Now, the next chord would be a 4 chord, and that is going to be your C. A lot of different ways to play that. Of course, you can play it just like that. You can play your C like that. You can also play your C like this, which is a C add 9. Multiple ways that you can actually play your C chord. So that is your 4 chord. Your 5 chord is going to be a D, right? Regular D chord. And the next chord is now going to be your 6, which is going to be E minor. You can play it like that. And then now you get to your 7. Your 7, in this case, we're going to touch on diminished chords in a later lesson. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing the 5 over 7 chord. Now your 5 over 7, you would play your regular D chord, right, that we would have here. And then the next thing is what I do is I tend to wrap my thumb around, and I just wrap my thumb around that F sharp, which is R7, right? Just like we had gone through, and we play. What I'm doing is you'll see is I'm actually muting that 5th string right there, and to get a good sound, and I'm not hitting, I guess, which in that case would be our A, but I'm muting that, and that makes it a D over F sharp or a 5 over 7 chord. Let's go through some chord progressions for the key of G. I'm going to call them out, and if you need to, go ahead and pause and then see if you can play them by yourself before we go through them together. The first chord progression, let's play, is 1, 4, 5. Thinking of the numbers, we're going to play the G chord. We're going to play the 4 chord, and we're going to play the 5 chord. In chords, that would be G, C, and D. All right. Let's do another chord progression. Let's do 1, 3 minor, 6 minor. All right. So what would that be? We're going to go 1, which is our G. We're going to play a 3 minor. That is our B minor. And then we're going to play our 6 minor, which is E minor. All right. Hope you're following along. Let's do 6, 4, 1, 3 minor. Pay attention to that. A lot of times they'll just call a 6 because they're expecting you to know that that is a 6 minor. All right. So let's do 6, which is our E minor. Let's play our 4, which is C. Let's play our 1, which is G. If they call out 3 minor, you're going to play B minor, okay? All right. Now let's play the chord progression of 4, 2 minor, 6 minor, 5. All right, so 4, let's play our C. Let's play our 2, which is A minor. Let's play our 6. And let's play our 5. 6 was E minor. 5 is D. All right, let's do one last one here. Let's play our 6, 5/7, 1. That is, 6 is going to be our E minor. 5/7 is going to be our D over F sharp. And let's play our 1, which is G. All right, I'm going to call them out, and I won't say what they are, but we're just going to practice together. Are we ready? 1, 4, 5. 1, 3 minor, 6. 6, 4, 1, 3 minor. 4, 2 minor, 6 minor, 5. 6, 5/7, 1. A lot of times they just call it out as 7. You expect to play 5/7. To wrap this up, one of the things I wanted to also bring up at the end here is playing the 1/3, which I showed here. I didn't show that in an example, but you have your 1/3 like that. Now, one thing I just wanted to mention is a lot of times you actually wouldn't have to play the 3. A lot of times if you have a bass player, they're going to be holding down that 3. So really all you need to play is that 1, which would be in this case G. And that goes the same for 5/7 as well, or if they call out 7. The bass player is going to be hitting that 7 note. A lot of times a 7 is going to be just a passing chord that's going to lead to the 1, a lot of times. But a lot of times you don't actually have to play that 7 in the bass because the bass player is taking care of that 7. What you can do, all you would have to play is just that 5 chord, which in the case would be D. Once you have this Nashville number system for the key of G figured out, I have created at least 2 songs for you, and they will be in the description for you to practice with. One will be a fast song, and the other one will be a slow song. So use these songs to practice with to help you understand the number system and be able to play with it. I hope this has been a help to you in understanding the Nashville number systems in the key of G. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave it in the comments, and I'll be happy to get back to you and answer your questions.